Hello and welcome again to Off the Record podcast. This is episode 5. My name is Rejoice Nathan and I am your host. It's been a wonderful ride doing this every week, and I want to say thank you for always tuning in and listening to us. We are available on YouTube and Spotify for now, although we are also working on making our video productions very soon. I can't even contain my excitement about that. You guys, I'm going to gist you. Maybe not on this episode, but on the next one. I'm going to gist you on. And okay, I think I should also use this opportunity to say that you should follow our Instagram account of the record show, of the record podcast on Instagram. So that you stay up to date with what we are doing, so that you follow along with our story of growth. And please also try to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, leave likes, comments, reviews, whatever. It encourages us to keep doing what we are doing. Okay, let's just get into what we have for today. And then every other story outside, like every other side story, will come on our page. So go there and follow up with what we are talking about. So lately I've been paying attention to how life moves. There's usually this quiet pressure to be careful, to choose paths that people have already explored, maybe parts that have been fact-checked and approved, parts that have been proven to be viable. There's this thing that business people do when they are trying to start a new business. They do like a feasibility study, etc. So even in our own daily life, we tend to, before we make a decision or choose a path that we want to follow, we want to make sure that this is obtainable, this is, something that is credible, should I use that word, someone has done before, and it proves to be, it proves to have like a return on investment, it proves to be, what's the word now? Beneficial. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. There's also this pressure about moving with clarity. In fact, in our last episode, which was last week, we talked about moving with direction and how direction is more important than speed. Yeah, true. But today we are exploring another angle. And that other angle is playing safe. In fact, this should be on caps lock. Playing safe. One of my top team for this year is Audacity. I've seen it countless times across the net, and I've heard people talk about it too. And I've also adopted it for myself this year. And I want to believe that we all know what that means. Or maybe I should explain that if you're not doing something that makes your heart beat faster, then you're playing safe. I don't know if that's a good explanation, but that is my down-to-earth explanation. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. If you're not doing anything that's making your heart beat faster, you're playing safe. You're on the opposite side of Audacity. Yeah, because if I'm being honest, life itself isn't a safe space. Of course, it never promised to be. Life never promised to be a safe space, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, even in the Bible, it says that even though we walk through the valley of shadow of death, we will fear no evil. You see that valley of shadow of death? It was a necessary call out because there will be valleys of shadows of death. There will be times, there will be troubles, there will be trials and tribulations. It's not inevitable in this world. This world is full of challenges. This world is full of ups and downs. Most of the time, the things that you plan don't work out for you. Most of the times, there are limitations. There are things that are holding you down against your will, if not for anything. Systems that have been built before you even exist or before you were born. Like most of those systems are built in a way that it's supposed to suppress you, frustrate you, to tame you, and all of that. Most of those systems were not built with you in mind, with your progress in mind. I promise you. There are a lot of things, our environment, laws, regulations, foundations, family, drama, relationships, a lot of things that already exist to make life miserable for a human being to start with, right? God didn't promise us a smooth sailing, rosy life. Yeah, well, we claim it in faith, but then in reality, God said He will give His angels charge over us, so we do not dash our foot against the stone. He said He will prepare a table before us in the presence of our enemies. And again, it also says in the Bible that when we tread upon serpents and scorpions, they shall by no means hurt us. My point of quoting all these Bible verses is to say that God would give us the grace to go through trials and tribulations. But are there trials and tribulations? Yes, they are. He did not promise us a world void of all of this. What he's saying is that in the midst of that, in the middle of that, He'll give us the grace to overcome. He'll give us the grace to get through it. He'll give us the wisdom to bypass it, to walk through it, and all of that. Not that it does not exist. The world is not a safe space to play. No, it's not. Life is not a place to play safe. Again, there's a saying that says, go hard or go home. This is not the place where you come and try to play small. And I promise you, you will get only what you place demand on from this nonchalant world. Yes, it is only what you request for that you're going to get. Most of the time, or would I say a lot of us does not really get the things that we desire. I'm yet to see someone who has a perfect life. I'm yet to see someone who has everything they requested for at a time. Probably it comes in time and in seasons, in phases, it drops like water one after the other. It comes, everything plays out with time, which that time, that period of waiting, or that period of expecting, or that period of moving into that abundance, things happen. There are steps that are being taken. There are decisions that are being made. Decision is a very big thing in this life. Like the things we choose to do or not do, the things we say yes to, the people we decide to do our lives with. There are a lot of decision making points in life that have the ability to, destroy our life or make it even better. Right? And there's no place of being too careful or playing safe at all. From my own view, if you ask me, safe choices are often, would I say, inherited, sometimes recommended, or even socially approved. So there's this thing I usually say, people would always give you advice, or advice. So people always give you advice based on their own personal experience, based on their view, their perception about life, based on the current phase or their current reality. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of factors that come together to inform the kind of advices we get from different people, which is the reason why the same thing you got from Mr. A won't be the same thing that you get from Mr. B. Yeah, the same thing you get from Mr. A would not be the same thing you get from Mr. B or Mr. C, which is to say that we all have different views of life. And sometimes it's not even he who is more successful, although it depends on what advice you're seeking though. It's not even always a case of he who is more successful has, the greater or a wiser thing to say. Sometimes everybody could be right in their own eyes, because of course would all say, everybody will say their own view, right? A lot of people end up living their lives by someone else's definition, especially those that depend solely on validation from other people. I'm not saying it's wrong to seek advice. Of course, by all means, seek advice from people who have walked the path. Seek advice mostly to get different views and perceptions, so you don't end up living in your own head and in your own world just alone, right? But another thing I'm trying to say is that in as much as we all do that, let's avoid getting into the trap of living our lives by someone else's definition of acceptable risk, something that should be done, or because there are some kind of risk that some people don't have the audacity or the courage to embrace, and then sometimes unknowingly they tend to project their fears on you. The point of understanding when to take those advices and when to walk with your own instincts and intuition, despite what is left for you. That's the tricky part here. There's something about playing life too carefully that slowly disconnects you from your instinct. You start outsourcing decisions to logic alone. You start to outsource decisions to your decisions will not be based on approvals of people, like I mentioned earlier, people's validation. You make decision based on the one that has the highest votes, the one that people cheer up the more. You will make decision based on what others have done in the past, that is proven to be successful. And before you know it, begin to live a life that might make sense, but doesn't really feel like your life. Sometimes, one of the things I usually do is, when I hit like some kind of crossroads in terms of decision making, I ask questions. I ask my mentors, I ask elderly people, I ask my parents, I ask my friends, I ask people around me. I gather perspectives sometimes in certain kind of situations, especially in situations that I know that within me I keep having this push and this nudge to do. At the end of the day me Rejoice Nathan, I end up just following my heart. It doesn't always come like that, so it doesn't always happen like that. It happens on like very rare occasions where maybe the decision is a big thing, and I keep having this, like I said, I keep having this nudge within me to do that, like take the risk, because of course our level of courage are not the same. The level of courage I have, how far I can go in terms of risk taking and saying, what's the worst that can happen, let's do it, and the level of courage that someone else have, whether or not they are my elder, whether or not they have more experience than me, whether or not they're in higher position than me, it would not be the same. Our audacity level cannot be the same. And one of the things I also want to chip in here is, I think that in terms of taking decisions that are more about, that sound more risky and audacious, my only two advice is, if you're looking for someone to talk to someone that you know that is also as audacious as you are, if not more audacious than you are. There are people that you might talk to, and because they don't have that courage, they will talk you down, and then you begin to feel like, what if I fail? No, what if I don't fail? What if I fail? Look, I fail now. What? I'm actually not against safety anyway. I'm not. See, I'm not saying you should be reckless with decision making. I'm not saying you should jump up without thinking, without planning, without organizing yourself. I'm not against safety at all. I'm against building your entire life around avoiding discomfort, not taking steps, not doing things because it's not comfortable, it's not what you're used to, it does not seem easy, it seems challenging, that kind of a thing. Yeah, because some things would only reveal itself or unfold when you move, when you take a step. You might not exactly know the entirety of or the end point of a particular decision until you just take the step. After all, life should be fun, man. I mean, life, we only live once, Abby. I think I always say that anytime I'm trying to make a bad decision. Not really in a serious way, I'm just kidding. Right? So because we only live once, we have this, like, there's no I used to tell someone that I've not lived this life before. None of us have. We don't have like previous experience. Unlike when you're looking for a job and then in your CV you have worked in 4 different places, you've taken the role, you already have experience. You're going to make decisions based on the things that have happened before and based on data, blah blah blah. Our life is singular, personal, and for ourselves. And there are a lot of things. Not everything we are doing, we are almost doing them for the first time. The next day that we are entering into every single day is the first time that we are entering into that day. The first time that we are being who we are on that single day, in that single moment. There's no life, there's no previous us. Well, I don't know. Some people actually believe that there's a previous us, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to say that with every opportunity you get to live life, to take risks, seize it, whether or not it does well, whether or not it goes well or fails or progresses. It will become a story for you to tell someday. It will become an experience for you to look back on and maybe hit your chest that I attempted this. There are also seasons where playing safe makes sense though. Yeah, there are seasons where you don't need it either. So it's just for you to find out. Yeah, that's the hard part. Knowing which season you are in and which one to go for. Knowing when to play it safe and when to say no. If I perish, I perish. I'm mad to get me. You guys don't mind me, Charlie. Maybe one day I will be courageous enough to share some of my life-changing decisions and the effects of those decisions. I don't want to talk about it right now because it's going to make this so long, and I don't want to make it so long. Although it's a long story, so maybe I'll just find a way to fuse it in. Talk about it someday somehow, but I will talk about it when I get the courage. For now, only those that know. There are lots of decisions that well, we'll talk about it the day we talk about it. And again, guys, on this episode, I'm not saying that you should put your hand inside fire. I'm not saying that you should endanger your life. I'm not saying that danger is noble. I'm not advising you to put yourself into something that, because I'm saying take risk, I'm saying don't play life safe, decide to be reckless or whatever. That is not what I'm about. That is not what I'm about. I'm trying to say be audacious. Yeah, audacious. That's what I'm just trying to say. Just be audacious. Know when to be. Try not to be too careful. try not to be too careful. I know you get the gist, Sha. You get it. Take that bold step. Do it scared. Do it with your heart beating fast. Let your heart beat. Let it beat fastest. In fact, it is good. It makes your blood pump and it makes blood circulation go around your body, and it's good to help you to keep you alive and fit. Because life would meet each and every one of us at the point of our audacity. I once saw something where they said you should be you, that life or the world will adjust to you or whatever. I've forgotten exactly how you say it, but it's also leaning into what we've been saying. And that's that. This year I pray that life meets you right at the point of your audacity. And I think that's a great prayer and wish. Because yes, if I say that you get everything you desire, amen, right? But if I also say may you get everything you are courageous enough to ask for, they are two different things. I think the latter carries more power. May you just get anything you're willing to ask for, may you get it. That's the prayer I'll be praying for people now. Instead of saying may you get everything you desire, okay, stand up and ask for it, request for it. Sometimes some things can come to you without you asking. Yes, it happens. But there are also some things that if you don't ask, you're not gonna get her. So ask. Whatever it is, the highest you're gonna get is a no. And then you move on to the next thing. Right? I've already talked a lot. I didn't want this episode to be long. I didn't want it to be long. So I think we'll just call it a day here. Thank you so much for listening to me up until this point. I really appreciate, and I can't wait to do this again next week. I can't wait to tell you all that we are building behind the scene concerning the video part of Off the Record. We're going to have a guest. I will announce all of these things on social media, so please look out for us. Again, our social media handle is Off the Record Show on Instagram. Please like, follow, subscribe to this channel, and may God bless you abundantly as you do so. See you again when I see you. Thank you. Bye.